Hello guys, welcome to Podzibus. This is our episode recapping the first week of Euro 2020-21. And in our panel, we have Wahaba, who is a Germany fan, Sai Sudeep, who is like he's a wide spectrum fan, and so is Himalay. And today we'll be discussing all the games that happened in the first week. So, without any further ado, I would like to get started, guys. And the first game that we would look into would be Italy versus Turkey. So, what were your opinions on that?
So Italy started in a good note, like as everyone expected who have seen followed Italy, they knew and they performed quite good. They had a good ball possession. Their defense was good. They had I guess 24 shots on target, and yeah, they dominated it. I guess like Turkey was performing a bit good at the beginning, but then it didn't work out for them. And yeah, like I Yes, it was a decent start for them, like quite good start for Italy.
So for Italy versus Turkey, I would say that Italy are quite overperforming at this minute only because they have, in my opinion, the best international manager in the world. There is nobody as good as Mancini in international circuit. As for Turkey, they had a decent qualifier. They drew with France and had a good win recently. But I personally feel that they are not that impressive as the Italy match quite a bit exposed them that they are a bit overrated as everybody is calling them a dark horse of everything. So I would like to see more of Italy just because of their manager, and Turkey I don't think will go far in the
I think the whole game Turkey just sat back during the game. They did nothing. I think they set up to play on the counter. They barely had ball position. It was all Italy in the first half, and I think it was just a matter of when, not if, Italy were going to score. And eventually they did. The first one was a bit lucky. It got a deflection. Berardi did very well, and then it became two, and then two became three, and then it was history.
Yes, I think this match didn't give us any surprises, and it was pretty bang on as the opener for the tournament. And let's move on to the next game then. It was Wales against Switzerland.
Okay, so Wahaba,
Well,
you can get it.
Yeah, Wahaba, I can go on.
uh, well said in the lucky escape because Switzerland was dominating at the beginning and like the both were doing good, like it was going good. But
बोल दो.
so Switzerland was versus Wales. I guess Wales had a lucky escape because Switzerland were dominating in the beginning and they were going good, but then they became unlucky and they started losing ball position. I guess they also missed a penalty or something,
Yeah.
and so that's what like yeah we can't say they didn't deserve it or something like it happens in football, but yeah Wales had a lucky escape.
So Wales, for me personally, I feel that Gareth Bale and others really step up in international tournaments. Semi-final last time around. This time around, they will start slow, but they can do well deep into the tournament. As I know quite a lot of players like Dan James and Harry Wilson, obviously from the Premier League. So I'm a bit excited in watching Wales. And as for Switzerland, there are talents like Mbolo and Mbabu which excite me, and obviously Shaqiri, who plays for my club, so I know a bit about him. That he performs well in international stage. Nothing really of note in that match for a neutral.
Yeah.
For me, I think Switzerland should have won the game. I think Seferovic, he missed a ton of chances. Although those were half chances, not fully, chances he actually had to score, but he still could have scored them. And Breel Embolo in that game, he amazed me, man. I think his strength, his power, his running is excellent. One to watch out for in the coming games as well.
Like how I see it is like both the squads were, like more or less had the similar abilities. We couldn't have predicted a clear winner at the beginning of the game. But yeah, I think Wales had a slight edge with players like Gareth Bale, and that I guess showed the difference. So that's pretty acceptable. And let's move on to the next game. That was Denmark against Finland. Well, this was pretty difficult game to watch actually. What do
Like
you guys think?
the situation which followed in was really very tense and it was and I didn't expect them to start the game like people were saying ki, players accepted. Like even the interview, it came out that they were asked to play today or like after tomorrow, 12 p.m. or something. Like man, they should
They,
have literally asked them that you won't play. Like, but UEFA.
even Kasper
So
Schmeichel like told, right, either play or take a 0-3 forfeit.
yeah, and that's obvious. Like when your teammate is in hospital and is in such a state, it's not possible for them to give their best and perform, even though they were performing. Like Denmark kept well, literally kept more shots on target, and literally Finland had probably won and they scored it. So it was a bit unlucky. And but I personally think that match shouldn't have been played on that day.
What do you think, Saisudi?
Same thing. Actually, the Denmark were dominating before that freak incident happened, and even after that, Denmark players were not in the game. It was really visible, and it all culminated in Pierre-Emile Højbjerg missing the penalty. I thought
Yeah.
if he had scored and dedicated it to Eriksson, it would have been a good moment, but unfortunately, we were not able to. Yes, Finland keeper saved the penalty. Only impressive thing in the match was Finland keeper making a lot of.
Yeah,
Precisely, yeah.
Um,
Finland did a
I
lot of
think,
saves.
to be very honest, I don't know what to make of the game. Half of the game was going pretty well until like that freak accident, what happened with Ericsson, and then like I think when they came back, I think they were absolutely not in the right headspace of playing a game of football. Those players were mentally, they were out of it. And the goal which they conceded, Casper Michael, I think Sesudip knows as well. He just saves that every day of the week. Man. He's such a good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
No way he doesn't save that.
I mean, yeah, I agree with all of you. I think there was no way this game could have progressed. But let's move on to the next one. That happened soon after this one. That was Belgium against Russia. Well, to this game,
Belgium.
I'd start with Lukaku's message to Christian Eriksen during that time. It was really touching. I really like that.
Yeah.
He scored a brace and he was just phenomenal. Like Lukaku performed, and like I guess Belgium just dominated. Russia was nowhere. But I have this point to say, and Munier was quite good, and obviously Lukaku, as I said.
Like, don't you guys think like Belgium is one of the most underrated teams? Like nobody thinks that they will win the Euros, but they have a really good team.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have,
like
but
I
I
I
think
think it's otherwise. Belgium has been rated quite a long time, but they have massively underperformed, mostly because I don't think their managers have fully utilized the squad. This
Hmm.
time I think it's different. They have MVP from Serie A, Lukaku, and controversially MVP from Premier League as well, Kevin De Bruyne. So and Thibaut Courtois has been the top three goalkeepers in the world alongside Oblak, I think. So this time they have a great chance. Only thing is that they have an aging defense. Vertonghen and Alderweireld are quite past their best. If they can put up a show, I think they can go all the way.
like Sesuri touched on it. I think the backline is very concerning. And even Vertonghen went off injured and Vermaelen came. I don't even know how old he is now.
Even Castagna
And
injured his eye, I think.
yeah. Good point.
Yes.
I mean, I had Castani in my fantasy team. I think he's a really good player. Having watched the Premier League this season, he can play right back, he can play right wing back, he can play left back, left wing back, and even right center back. He's such a versatile and flexible player, and he's such a massive upgradable move. His loss, I don't know. I think Munier will have a lot on his shoulders in his absence.
Right. Moving on. Let's. The next day, the game was England against Croatia at Wembley. Let's start off with the fact that Gareth Southgate literally used Trippier at left back after having so many quality left backs in the squad. What is going on?
I think I'd like to start with this one. I think I knew Sasuri and I are both England friends. So I messaged him like 1.5 day ago before the game actually happened. There was a leak that Sterling was starting. We were losing our heads already then. And then the next day, it comes out that Trippier is starting at left back. Chilwell out of the squad and Shaw on the bench. I had no idea what he was thinking. I mean, Croatia don't even have like a proper winger on that side like that really convinced me of the need to play Trippier. Perisic played on the left, and Waka had him covered. Why would he play
Yes.
a defensive player at left back who's a right back and not without having any, without having,
Natural,
yeah, yeah, that's why.
not any natural left backs.
So the
Saisudeep, what would
game,
you say? Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
matlab, in the first half, I was absolutely, I was frustrated with Kyle Walker. God knows what he was doing, miss hitting every cross and just using his space. He was doing absolutely nothing, and I was like fuming. So put Trippier in and put Shaw in as left back or bring in these games, but Walker held on his own. And for that match, I would especially like to mention Calvin Phillips. So a lot of
Hmm.
Premier League watchers really like what Calvin Phillips does, and he was the one who we didn't expect to start. We expected someone like Bellingham, who obviously performed later in the match. In the 10 minutes, he was very impactful, but Calvin Phillips really owned that stage, and it was quite a warming sight for, especially for England fans.
This game was pretty even. Like if you even go to the stats, you see that like possession was even. All the like stats, like fouls and the pass percentages and all of this game was pretty even. And what I think is Sterling's goal at the end was like I think there was more of a fluke than a goal that could have gone either way. And Sterling was not good throughout the match, in my opinion. I watched the game and it was really bad to watch Sterling play at that position. Like having people like Grealish in the squad in the attack, you could have
Rashford,
used a lot of
Rashford,
Rashford
Jadon
even,
Sancho
yeah,
Sancho didn't even make
and
the bench.
make the squad.
Uh,
and Foden in the first half he had like he hit the post. It was really
uh,
difficult to watch England play actually. I thought this was going to be a draw, 0-0 draw, dead rubber. Like even Luka Modric from Croatia could not put in some creativity. He could have done better, I think.
Croatia's
He alone.
a lot of squad has changed in 2018 World Cup. Mandzukic, Rakitic, even Subasic is
Yeah,
not there. Even Lovren was missing. I don't think they will go far in this tournament. They're quite way off from
Yeah,
their World Cup team, and I don't rate them anymore much
same,
as one of the top teams in Europe.
same.
I think they have lost it.
Baba, what do you say?
No, I haven't watched this match.
Okay, chalo, skip. Drop.
चलो कोई बात नहीं. Okay, the next one was Austria against North Macedonia. New entries, North Macedonia. What do you think, Sainsudeep?
So for this match, the only high two things that caught the eye was Goran Pandev scoring the first Macedonian goal, and the second thing that Alaba really shone through, and the third, the real controversy came after the third goal. After Arnautovic scored, he made, I think, allegedly some racist comment towards
Alioski.
Alioski, and that made some headlines. But obviously, Alaba went there and controlled, and that showed that Alaba's composure, which was evident throughout the match with his performance. He was very good in that match.
I'd like to touch down on the incident. I think Arnautovic was just handed a one-match ban, so he can't play the next game.
Yeah, I
Deservedly,
saw
in my
that
opinion.
picture going viral, so I thought that something like people were telling that something happened. And yeah, I was quite happy with how Alaba performed and he won the man of the match, I guess.
Uh,
Good for him.
Yeah.
आगे बढ़ दो.
Um, the next game, the next game was Netherlands against Ukraine. Memphis Depay season. He's coming to Barcelona, so I think it was pretty good to see like players that are like finally being somewhat clinical. And Frankie De Jong was very good in this game. So as a Barcelona fan, that game was something which made me happy. What do you guys think?
So I would like to point out one thing that would not make Barcelona fans happy, and that was Gini Wijnaldum's performance. So Wijnaldum opened the scoring and was, and as a captain, he really shone through. So he said that he would dedicate his goal to Virgil van Dijk. So he did that, and in absence of Van Dijk, his captaincy shone through. Great performance. Only thing was Dumfries missing a lot of chances and then finally taking one. Ukraine were decent. Yarmolenko's goal, obviously great. They showed a lot of great fight. I
Mhm.
personally rate Shevchenko as a very good manager. He has done a very good job, but this tournament comes too soon for him. I think they will perform well in later tournaments.
I think I was very surprised by how open the game was. The game was, felt like in the first half, every attack would lead, every speller position would lead to something, and it actually did. Chances after chances, and Dumfries was actually is the right wing back, and he was like popping out in the box with chances. I think he missed two big chances in the first half,
Who was
and actually
really
became the first player in the Euros to miss two big chances in the opening half, and in second half he actually went on to score. And I think Ukraine's comeback was really on. I think Yarmolenko, he was excellent that day. Was I don't know what to say. And I think the second goal came from a set piece. Yeah, I
uh,
thought for a second that Ukraine could nod it given the momentum they had, but Poland just said too much.
Yeah, at the beginning of the game, even I could think that this match could go either way. Netherlands were not up to them. Like going into the game, I don't think Netherlands were up to that mark. Um, let's go on. Let's move on to the next one. That is Scotland against Czech Republic.
so this
Go on, guys.
game was
What do you think?
proper. For
I would like to say at first that goal was really awesome. Like nobody I guess expected him to score from there. That curve was
That
I think
distance.
like
there's a
that
long way
should
to go.
be the goal for this tournament or something.
Uh,
Like let's see how other goals are. Um,
there's a long way to go, but I don't think anyone will top that goal. It's so good.
yeah,
It was
But
a
really,
good.
very
It was
Scotland
good
had
very
an
game.
good.
actually very good performance. I personally know a lot of players from that team. A lot of
Uh,
them play in Premier League.
Any
Robertson had a good game,
Andy.
as did McTominay and
Yeah.
others, but they were just unlucky. They were like playing like Brighton in Premier League, stat padding all the XG but no end product.
That was pretty apt. The next game was something Wahaba won't like. Poland versus Slovakia.
No,
So let's start with you, Wahaba, on
I will
this.
be very honest. Like I have seen earlier Poland, like people shouldn't expect anything from there. Like some people were hyping up Lewandowski to win the Ballon d'Or this season. I was like, no, there is literally no chance because Euro is happening and there is no hope with Poland. Like I started watching the match, it felt like they're losing possession and this like leave him missing shitters. Like he is not even retrieving anything, and obviously Lewandowski also didn't perform up to mark. And my timeline, oh my god, I watched for 45 minutes and then I switched it off. Probably they scored a equalizer, then again they conceded. I don't think they will make into the next stage. Like it's not at all possible. Like they will face Spain, I guess, next, and and
Hmm.
Ukraine
and
thereafter.
oh no, no way.
Ukraine
No,
thereafter.
no way, no way. Like
Ukraine is
internationally,
Pretty difficult.
Sweden.
I'm just
Sweden again.
silently.
जल्दी मत
Sweden,
जाओ,
Sweden,
6
Sweden.
मिनट बाकी है.
Um,
Oh, like you
Ukraine.
can say, I'm just silently
Hmm.
accepting all the trolls and stuff. Like I don't want to initiate anything. That's okay.
Um, anyone else like to say?
So that match only had apart from Lewandowski missing or ghosting, you can say. So Milan Skriniar from Slovakia performed really well.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
scored the goal and obviously kept Lewandowski quiet. That was in my opinion, the only upset that happened in the tournament. And apart from Skriniar's performance in Slovakian spirit, there is nothing much to talk about there.
All right. I think it'll be safe to move on to the next game, which had me pulling my hair out quite literally. It was Spain against Sweden. Alvaro Morata, please. I'm a Spain fan, and I think right now, like people literally like, said that Spain missed a leader in this game, which is I don't think which is true. Jordi Alba was a very good leader, and Jordi Alba actually performed really well. I think he had really good crosses, and he was making those really important runs. What Spain was missing on that day, I think, was a lethal finisher. Even Koke had really good chances; he could not convert. Morata, I mean, come on, man, that was comical. And I think Spain missed someone like Ansu Fati.
Yes, Spain had actually
What do you guys
made
think?
30 passes and Sweden had like 89.
89.
They were a lot
Yeah.
dominant.
Pedri alone had 89 passes from Spain.
Only thing is, I feel
Yeah.
if Gerard Moreno had started, maybe things could have been different.
Yeah.
Otherwise, matlab, I expect Spain to be the same, dominate the possession and do nothing if Morata does not improve or if they do not start Gerard. And for the Premier League
In
fans,
fact, I remember there was a yeah,
surprising thing was
yeah,
Lindelof winning the man of the match.
I think
yeah.
his partner in centre back Danielson, he played very well. I think he
Even
deserved to be the man
Olsen
of the match.
played well.
Yeah, the Everton goalkeeper.
And
Hmm.
in fact, I remember there was a sequence where Spain had a lot of possession and Sweden had better
Yeah,
chances. There was like
Ah,
Alexander Isak
Isak was
almost came close
very
to
good, very
scoring,
impressive.
and
and Berg missed a huge chance at the end. I mean, around 70 minutes or something like that. He
Ah,
has to score that, man.
yeah,
That's like an open goal.
at that time Unai Simon was really lucky at that time.
Yeah.
hmm. Last group एक साथ कर गए थे
And
उसका 4 ही मिनट में.
oh, so moving on to Hungary against Portugal, this game had 100% attendance was allowed for this game, and the atmosphere was quite unreal. What do you
Electric.
guys think?
It was a bit unlucky for Hungary, I guess. Like they were doing good initially, and but then Ronaldo happened. They
I
got
would
that
say
unlucky
like
penalty, and then
yeah,
like they should have put like they missed some chances, and so that costed them. And yeah, like we didn't expect they will lose literally 3-0. Like it was 80 minutes or something, and then the goals started happening.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like until 85th minute or so, their defense was able to keep Cristiano and Bruno quiet. What
People
do you
were
think?
ready
First
with
half
all
they had a
the
lot of
memes
chances,
and
but the only
something,
thing is
I guess.
they started converting in second half. They had the chances in first half as well, Jota and Cristiano both. But in second
Yeah,
half,
they
they
missed it.
finally converted. I think it was a deserved win for Portugal. I do not buy that Hungary deserved anything from that game. They showed good fight, but didn't have actually anything much to show for it compared to Portugal, who scored 3 goals and obviously had 3 or 4 more other chances.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty apt. Portugal deserved this win. They played really well. And
Yeah,
our last
like
game,
I wait,
Yeah,
wait.
खत्म
I
करना है यार.
personally, I personally don't
go on, go
understand
on.
this deserve. Like it's just
अरे बाद
you
बाद
win it
बाद
or you
बाद
lose
बाद
it.
2.5 मिनट है आखिरी गेम कवर करना है.
Happens. That's football. So the final game this week was France against Germany. Wahaba, Germany.
It was an intense game. Like obviously tough for us. But well, the thing I expected it was much, I guess, much better, and the own goal costed us, yes. But Hummels literally saved us a lot of time, like that tackle for Mbappe and stuff, and we were little missing a proper number 9 because Muller is not actually a striker, and even Kimmich in RB wing, he was not like though he tried gave some corners and stuff, but it was not being converted. Overall, it wasn't like even I don't have much hope with Germany in this tourney. But still,
So from that game, the thing that stood out for me was the French front five. So Pogba and Kante pivot, and with Griezmann, Mbappe, and Benzema, the link up was actually very
yeah.
great. And Germany didn't really trouble because of lack of number 9. I personally like Timo Werner playing for Germany, despite him not taking the chances. He provides something different, which could have tested the French defense.
I think Germany will always suffer because they don't actually have a DM in their double six they play. Klose and Gundogan are a bit like they're alike players. They like to have the ball at the feet. They don't have a DM that can put them in trouble. But I think the backline is doing still well. Hummels was fantastic, and I think I believe in Rudiger at left center back. I think he's developing into one of the best players in that role. And about the front line, I think I think he lost the ball a few times in the first half, but I think his movement was good as always. I think the front race movement in general was good. They're a bit fluid. They can move around as much as they want.
विश्व खत्म कर दे. Thank you for
Yeah,
watching.
so on that note, let's end the game week. Thanks for watching and stay safe, guys. See you in the next one.
Bye.